RollCall 2014, this time against Phil Vestey's Empire Army. We play and deploy a battle line, and we are playing the Blood and Glory scenario. For my spell, I get Acquiescence, Hysterical Frenzy, and again Cacophonic Choir, so I get very lucky twice in a row, get Cacophonic Choir, which is pretty cool. Empire have a general with a level 4 metal character who I forgot, the Archlector I think maybe. He's Lore Master of Metal, and he's got level 1 of fire with Fireball on foot. I apologize for the bad picture. My deployment is as follows. From the left I've got a Slaanesh Chariot, Dragon Hounds who will vanguard up into the forest. I then have another unit of Dragon Hounds who have vanguarded on the right of the center of the screen there. Then I have a second Slaanesh Chariot. Next to them is 18 Warriors of Chaos, full command, Chimera with Flaming Breath and Regeneration. And then on top right out of the screen there is a second Chimera with Flaming Breath and Regeneration. My Dragon with the Dragon Lord on top, and Dragon Ogres and the BSB just behind there as well. My opponents are 2 mortars, top left and right of the screen. He's got a steam tank, he's got 35 spearmen full command, 10 handgunners full command with 2 witch hunters in there. He's got 5 demigryphs, and not really looking forward to fight that. He then has a plethora of characters. He has a captain on a Pegasus, he's got his level 4 general on a Pegasus, and he's got 20 inner circle knights with full command and a BSB. Oh, scratch that, may have been 16. I don't see on the pictures, I'll tell you in a second. Dragon Host wins the roll, and I move everything forward. As you can see, the camera jumps into the forest, passes his dangerous terrain, the Warriors of Chaos move up with a Banner of Swiftness, the Chariots move up next to the Dragon Hounds, Dragon Ogres behind. I move my Dragon behind the tower there, thinking I don't want to get sniped by the cannon on turn 1 from the steam tank. Move the second Chimera on the flank on the right, and I dashed my Sorcerer who vanguarded behind the tower before we started, just right by the demigryphs there. I get a good wind of magic phase, and I cast Acquiescence on the demigryphs, which is dispelled. I then cast irresistibly Cacophonic Choir, Bubble. The demis get 4 wounds, and 1 model is removed. The captain gets 4 wounds and is dead, so I don't even know what he had. I guess we will never know, unless Phil lets us know below in the comments. The mortar on the top right corner is in range and gets 4 wounds and is dead as well. And the sorcerer, for his trouble, loses 2 levels, so he's no longer a sorcerer. But I think I'll take it, that's pretty cool. Now the demigryphs have random movement d6 and always strike last. Empire turn 1 is steam tank makes a long charge makes a long random movement into the flank of the Chimera. The demigryphs try to randomly move into the sorcerer, but fail by about half an inch, so they have to stop 1 inch away. He moves his level 1 fire mage out of the spearman to have a clean shot at the chariot, as you can see there. And then he gets his general closer to the inner circle knight and moves his handgunners closer so he can get some pot shots at the Dragon Hounds who are hiding in the forest. In the magic phase, his level 4 miscasts Serene Doom on the Warriors of Chaos, causes 4 wounds, and I think the miscast was just a 7, so he loses a couple of dice, not much. So that's the end of the magic phase anyway. In the shooting phase, the gunners try to shoot at the hounds but cause 0 wounds. The left mortar, or the remaining mortar, misfires and blows up, so that's very unlucky for Phil. And in the combat phase, the steam tank causes 13 impact hits, 6 wounds directly onto the Chimera, so the Chimera is dead without being able to retaliate. Nearby hounds do not panic, thankfully. Dragon's turn 2. My dragon with back scratcher charge the demigryphs. The Chimera charges the demigryphs with him. They are always strike last, so it's now or never. The chariot charges the steam tank and hope to get several impact hits before getting hit back. Last, at the center, the Warriors of Chaos do a long charge with the Banner of Swiftness into the Handgunners and the 2 Witch Hunters. In the remaining movement subphase, the Chariot, the BSB, the Dragon Ogres move closer, but not too close to be charged by the Inner Circle Knights, whereas the Dragon Hounds move behind to circle, maybe not being shot by anything or getting panicked. And then I move the Sorcerer, who is no longer a Sorcerer, on the right hand side of the Inner Circle Knight. You'll see in the next picture, just behind his General. In the combat phase, the combat with the dragon, the demis pass their fear test. The Lord causes 2 wounds. Quite cleverly, the demigryph hit the camera and kills it in one go. In the end, I lose by 2, but I pass my panic check. Thank God for that. Jeez. The Warriors of Chaos combat. The Warriors of Chaos champion challenges the unit champion and gets killed. The rest of the warriors cause 3 wounds on a unit and 1 wound on the other Witch Hunter. The Witch Hunter and the Handgunners lose by 4 and they panic and they flee. I do not catch them. They run away but just fell short and stopped before the Knights, which is great because now the Knights cannot charge and are pretty much blocked. The Chariots completely whiffs and do not cause any wounds to the steam tank, who already has 2 wounds on because of misfires during generating steam zone. Empire turn 2, the Spearmen charge the Warriors of Chaos, who stand. The steam tank misfires and gets another wound, but gets 5 steam points. He grinds, causes 3 wounds, and I save 2 on 6s, which is pretty cool. The Handgunners are now in the forest, and the forest is a nasty one. It's wild wood, causes 6 hits and causes 4 wounds to the poor Handgunners. In the magic phase, the level 4 casts Searing Doom on the Chariot and causes 5 wounds. That's enough, the Chariot is gone. The nearby BSB fails his first panic check but passes the second, thank God for that. He then casts Enchanted Blade on his Spearman and I dispel it. And his level 1 of fire casts Fireball on the Hounds, 9 hits and causes 5 wounds, so that's vaporized Hounds for you. In combat, the Chariot passes or causes 1 sneaky wound on the steam tank. The steam tank uses 2 steam points to do a Flaming Breath, which causes 8 hits but causes 0 wound. The Warriors of Chaos cause 7 wounds on the Spearmen. The Spearmen cause 1 wound back. However, they are steadfast on the 9 and stick around. In the combat with the dragon gets 3 wounds on him and saves them. The dragons then causes 3 wounds on a demi. The demi lose by 1. However, they stick around on the leadership. Dragon's turn 3, I charge the Dragon Ogres into the flank of the Spearmen. Yes, at last I get a flank charge with these guys, because that's where they should be really. I charge my used-to-be Sorcerer into the flank of these Handgunners, and I'm trying to do a trick here, you will see. I then charge the BSB into the demis to support the dragon and the Lord on top. I move the Hounds around the dragon to be away and potentially chaff up the unit of Inner Circle Knights, which are 15, just in case he decides to come and support the demigryphs. At the end of the movement phase, the Wild Woods do not cause a wound on a Sorcerer, however kill 1 Spearman. In combat, the Sorcerer hits the Witch Hunter, which is just next to it, kills it, and then I need to roll a 4. I need to roll a 4 to turn it into a spawn, but I roll a 3. Oh, failed. Yes, my Sorcerer has the Sword of Change, and why not? Little wink here to Lord Tremendous. I think it's a clever thing. It surprises people when it works. Didn't work this tournament. The combat with the Spearmen, the Warriors of Chaos caused 12 wounds. The Spearmen, in return, caused 2 wounds back to the Warriors of Chaos, but the Dragon Ogres just cause 7 wounds and completely explode the Spearmen, who flee and are pursued by the Dragon Ogres, but they fail to catch them. The Dragon Lord causes 2 wounds, but 1 is saved by the Demis. The BSB only does 2 wounds, 1 is saved by the BSB. The Demis do 2 wounds, the 0 are saved, so I'm taking a couple of wounds, which is unfortunate. And the Dragon just finishes them. He goes to town on the unit. And that's the end of the Demis for you. And this is how it looks after the combat. The combat with the chariot and the steam tank, nothing happened there. Nothing of interest. Empire turn 3, the steam tank grinds and explodes the chariot. The inner circle knight just do a cheeky charge on the flank of the saucer or would-be saucer, and then with the view to overrun into the flank of the dragon ogres. Empire mages shift on the flank of my army next to the steam tank just to pew-pew everything in sight, which can be pew-pewed. The spearmen flee, but not too far, or not far enough to be off the table. In Magic, the level 3 only gets 3 dice to play with, so he casts Searing Doom and miscasts on 2 dice. How unlucky is that? Miscasting on 2 dice. Every wizard in the Empire side, or well, every wizard remaining on the table, anyway, takes a wound, and unfortunately the Searing Doom on the warriors cause a single wound. Those also challenges the Inner Circle Knight champion. He fluffed everything, gets 0 wound, but gets no wound in return. Combat res is -7 to the sorcerer. He fails his snake eyes, gets caught, and the Inner Circle Knight overrun directly into the flank of the dragon ogres, who will not like that. I bet you they won't. However, that leaves the knight's flank well open for my BSB and my dragon to easily make their charges in there. I then turn my warriors to try to, well, probably give them away to try to stop the steam tank to get into my BSB flank or my dragon flank next turn. In combat, the dragon, the lord, causes 6 wounds, the BSB causes 2 wounds. The dragon ogre's champion make way, so he can only hit him. It causes a wound. The knights kill the champion dragon ogres, causing 4 wounds. In final, counting the ranks, etc., the knights lose by 2, and he fails his panic check. And they flee. And I overrun them. So, yeah, not good, but glorious victory for the dragons. In Empire turn 4, the spearmen and handgunners just had enough and flee off the table. The steam tank moves into the Warriors of Chaos. The level 1 gets closer, just behind the tank there, and the level 4 just moves around to try to pew-pew me from the back. And that he does, he casts Final Transformation into the dragon, but needs a 6 and gets none. He then casts a big Searing Doom on the BSB, and I thankfully irresistibly dispels it. He then tries to Fireball with his level 1, but fails to cast. And as expected, the impact hits alone from the steam tank just grinds to a pulp the Warriors of Chaos. However, they're far enough, so nothing has to take a panic check. Dragons turn 5, I try to charge the BSB into the mage, but do not catch it. Oh yeah, the mage decided to flee, so that's why he's not on the screen there. And then I try to move my units around. I'm preparing for a charge, so I'm putting the dragon far away enough from the steam tank. Move the dragon ogres behind the impassable terrain there, so the steam tank cannot get into them. And I move the dragon hounds just in case I need some chaff. My hope there is that the sorcerer will, or the wizard will fail his march move, and he will be in range of one of my charges. In magic phase, I try to cast a cheeky fireball into the mage from the BSB, but he gets dispelled. In his turn 5, the Empire player decides to rally the wizard, which he should, I guess. In magic phase, the level 4 casts Searing Doom on the BSB, and again, thankfully, I irresistibly dispel it. The steam tank then uses cannon on a dragon, hits, causes a single wound onto the Lord and 2 onto the dragon, and I'm thankful for that. And so my last turn, I move the dragon behind the dragon hounds, thinking if the cannon, thinking I need to protect the dragon, putting sideways like this, it's gonna be harder to hit. I'm hopeful I still have a ward. Fingers crossed. I move then my BSB in range of the fireball for sniping his general. I cast Fireball on a 14 and he gets a 14 to dispel. Ah, so close. Could have killed the bastard. No, it didn't happen. I think it's fair enough, you know. So I'm bracing myself for the Empire turn 6. He gets 4 steam points on his steam tank. Magic phase, he casts Final Transmutation on the BSB. He gets a 19. And he rolls a 4. Yeah, but talk about bracing myself. That was a huge relief. However, it's not over yet. Steam tank loads, shoots a cannon at my dragon. He rolls a 6, hits the hounds. 1 hound is dead. Gets rolls to a bounce and gets a misfire. And the dragon gets no hit from the cannonball. Thank God for that. That was one of these. And so I have more victory points left on my table than he. Oh, not victory points. I get more points left on the table than he has. And because it's Blood and Glory, I destroy his Fortitude, and he hasn't. So I win the bonus 825 points, and that gives me a 20-0 victory. Whew, tough game. It was a good game. It was a really, really good game. It's a shame the Inner Knights were blocked like that by their own troops, but I'm taking it, and that gave me a nice flank charge. That was pretty cool. I did whiff on my first one of combat against them, but second turn was alright. And so the Dragons go on to then game 3 with a loss 0-20 and a win 20-0. So very irregular, but what do you want? We have a piece of chaos, and chaos is fickle. There you go. Hope you enjoy. See you next time.